Now, starting things off, former President Jacob Zuma will today be at the High Court in Johannesburg in the case of his private prosecution bid against President Cyril Ramaphosa. The matter was postponed in December of last year. Zuma is accusing his successor of being an accessory after the fact, after he allegedly failed to act against prosecutor advocate Billy Down and journalist Karyn Maughan for allegedly disclosing his medical details in violation of the NPA Act. Zuma will seek to keep his private prosecution case on the roll when he goes to the criminal court. This is in a series of legal attempts to privately prosecute the president. Last year, Ramaphosa successfully sought the court's intervention to review and set aside the bid by his predecessor, a move that Zuma sought to appeal before the full bench of the High Court and lost. Then the former president petitioned the Supreme Court of Appeal, but it was also dismissed. For more on the story, let's cross to our reporter, Canny Maphanga, who is at the High Court in Johannesburg. Canny, good morning. Perhaps on the back of what transpired, you could just give us the latest. What can we expect in this matter that's back in court?
Well, good morning to you, Liesl, and to the viewers at home. What you can expect from the Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg, that is the criminal court, is that the former president, Jacob Zuma, has to come to this court in his capacity as a private prosecutor to keep his private prosecution bid alive. He has to make that appearance and ensure that the matter is still enrolled. So what you can expect this morning is an appearance and a very quick postponement, because we already know that the private prosecution bid in all categories has been invalidated by not only the Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg, but by the KZN High Court Division in Pietermaritzburg. So he doesn't have an accused that he can put through the criminal dock, but what he has to do pending the appeals that he has in the Supreme Court of Appeal and one appeal in the Constitutional Court is that he has to explain to the court why he's not ready to proceed with the matter this morning. And once he's done that, he will then request a postponement date. It'll probably be a lengthy postponement because we know that that appeal process may take some time. Because, you know, Liesl, if he doesn't appear this morning and actually explain to the court what's happening with the appeals process, then essentially what happens is that the matter will be struck off the roll. And it's not like any other court where you can re-enroll the matter and proceed where you left off. No, you'd have to start all over again. And the former president is fully aware of this fact, hence why he keeps up these appearances and ensures that in his capacity as a private prosecutor, that he comes to this court and ensures that the matter is still enrolled, explains to the court why he can't proceed, and then requests that postponement date. Now, as you've correctly stated, this all relates back to the alleged leak of his health records and the corruption trial in Pietermaritzburg. He's alleging that there are 3 categories involved. That is an alleged perpetrator, an alleged accomplice, and an alleged accessory after the fact. The 3rd category is where the president comes in. You may remember that just weeks or maybe just right before that conference where the president stood for a 2nd term as ANC president, he was hit with those summons by the former president to appear in the criminal court. The the current president was successful in invalidating that private prosecution bid. The Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg, that is a civil court, found that it was unlawful, invalid, and set it aside and was for an ulterior purpose. That is why the president, Ramaphosa, doesn't have to appear in this criminal court. But for the former president to keep this matter on the roll, he has to keep up these appearances pending the finalization of those appeals. So we expect that at 10 a.m. this morning, those proceedings will begin. And I've seen outside the court that a stage has already been set up. So we expect that MK supporters will be here in their numbers to support the former president and his private prosecution bid.
All right, Canny, we're obviously monitoring developments from here too. Thank you for that update. We'll leave it there for now. Canny Maphanga stationed outside the High Court in Johannesburg. We know the case of former President Jacob Zuma today will be heard at the High Court of his private prosecution bid against President Cyril Ramaphosa. We obviously know that the matter had been postponed in December of last year. Canny just bringing us the latest there.